Dream Team, it's your boy Neal, back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with how James Corden destroyed his reputation. I'm a fan of James Corden. I love the Late Show. You feel me? James Corden is hilarious, and they come up with all these games that are fun to watch. I love his show. Well, I'm intrigued on what this video has to say about him. Before we jump into this, make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You want to subscribe to any of it, put all the links in the description. All you got to do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Human, I talk back. If you got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. What we got?
James Corden has slowly developed one of the worst reputations in media history, and the foundation for his decline began when people started to realize that James Corden was a completely different person when he wasn't on camera. As an actor and the main host of The Late Show, James presents as a happy, polite, easygoing comedian whose goal is to simply make the audience laugh, although there's a mountain of evidence showing that in his private life he's the exact opposite to this, with his rude nature developing after he first became famous back in 2008. As a result of his excellent performance on a British TV show called Gavin and Stacey, James would win the British equivalent of an Oscar, although accompanying this award was an ego boost that began to get out of control.
You can start to think you're perhaps a bit more of a dude than you really are, and that very much happened to me. You know, I had a swagger in my walk.
As mentioned, James Corden's sudden explosion.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel, especially when it's like a sudden explosion where you finally make it. It's like, I'm that guy. I'm that man. Everybody has a little bit of an ego. Whether they have it in check or not is different with everybody. Everybody has an ego that wants to come out. Some people just have control of it.
And that very much happened to me. You know, I had a swagger in my walk.
As mentioned, James Corden's sudden explosion into fame led him to believe that he was more of a dude than he really was, which would eventually translate into him treating everyone around him like garbage. James explained that as 2008 wore on, it got so bad I was being rude to my agent, and I even started being rude to Ruth. If I was in company and the conversation wasn't revolving around me, I would just switch off. In addition to being rude to everyone around him, Corden began to live a typically irresponsible, newly famous lifestyle.
I'd started going out quite a lot. This door had opened to this world that I thought looked like fun, where people go, "You're amazing, you're great, can I have a photo? Do you want a drink? Come out with us." And so you just end up on this path of just 3 a.m. cab rides with people you don't know, heading across London to someone's house who you don't know either, with a group of people who think it's amazing that you're there. This is an intoxicating thing to be part of.
All of which being noticed by another...
You can imagine that. I mean, a group of people who think that it's just the most incredible thing to be around you, just to be in your presence. Like, you can see how that can become addicting. You can see how that can become addicting, that all these people think that you're like so incredible. You start to believe it at some point. You're like, I am that incredible. Like, I'm that guy. But when it gets to a point of you starting to treat people lesser than you, that's when it becomes a problem. Because you should never treat anybody lesser than you, because if you're willing to do that, that means you're willing to believe that there's some people that are better than you.
That you're there. This is an intoxicating thing to be part of.
All of which being noticed by another Gavin and Stacey actor, Rob Brydon, who explained that when he first met James Corden 6 years prior, he was very impressed by him, yet after winning the Oscar award, James Corden was on a roller coaster. This boy from High Wycombe, and he's suddenly enjoying the fruits of his success, and he just lost his way for a bit. He was burning the candle at both ends and becoming ratty and irritable. James Corden claimed that his streak of irresponsibility came to an end after attending 18 months of therapy, although even after this, there were still countless examples of him treating people like garbage. For example, James Corden stated in a BBC4 interview that he needed to bully his way to the top of the media world, which can be observed in certain events such as the time he get into a public argument with another incredibly respected actor, Patrick Stewart, whilst on stage.
When the presenters are up here and when the recipients are receiving their awards, don't stand at the back of the stage with your hands in your pockets, looking around as though you wished you were anywhere but here.
Oh, you couldn't be more wrong, sir. And if it looked like that, I'm so sorry. But when you come up and present an award, just get on with it.
After Patrick Stewart would confront James about looking disinterested during the presentation, the argument would escalate in front of everyone.
Sorry, I'm waiting for the punchline. Go on. No, seriously, go on.
Okay.
No, go on. You can see my belly, and we can all see you dying right now. Let's go for it. Here we go.
Which was
Why did he even come for James? I understand, like, if you feel that way that he's standing up there like that, but like, pull him back and like tell him to the side in private or something. Don't get up on the mic and say it to the whole audience. Of course he's gonna try to defend himself after that. Like, don't do that. Pull him to the side. Hey, it just looks like you're kind of uninterested. Like, it looks like you'd rather be anywhere else right now. Is everything good? Just like that. And when you get up here to present, you don't. When someone's getting their award, don't just stand. Like, don't do that, bro. Don't. I feel he had a right to defend himself right there.
You can see my belly, and we can all see you dying right now. Let's go for it. Here we go.
Which was concluded by James and Patrick bickering in the background while someone else was talking on the microphone. Now, to cut James some slack, Patrick Stewart was probably in the wrong here, considering he was the person who began the argument. Interestingly, after James Corden gave him a very favourable introduction.
What was really confusing about it was I gave him like a massive intro.
Yeah, I know.
I said, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome an actor who's held in such high esteem. Please welcome the brilliant Sir Patrick Stewart. And then he came up and did that.
Although James still decided to engage and clap back with a few jabs of his own, so it's safe to say that he also had some degree of responsibility. There are other examples of similar situations where James has acted rudely, however, only after being provoked by someone else first. Countless paparazzi videos show James walking through Los Angeles looking quite angry and disinterested, although having a camera involuntarily shoved into your face probably doesn't facilitate the best environment for a good mood. There was also the time when Ant and Dec played a prank on James Corden, attempting to make him late for work, although considering they were literally going out of their way to make him angry, James probably gets another pass here. However, when James Corden would post one of the most brutal Reddit Ask Me Anythings in internet history, 3 fan interactions were highlighted, which James had absolutely no excuse for. Hey James, you won't remember me, but me and my friend sat at a table next to you and Harry Styles plus some others in Manchurian Legends in London's Chinatown about 6 years ago. We didn't bother you, but you were a massively entitled dick who yelled and treated the waitstaff like shit, and when one of my party politely suggested you calm down, you got really aggressive and threatening. So my question is this: why did Harry seem so cool while you were such a massive throbbing bellend? This post was followed by another which read, I went to a James Corden live recording a while back. He had nearly zero interaction with the audience before/after the show and was on his phone entirely during commercial breaks. I guess that's his prerogative. He may have been having a bad day. I also realize it must be difficult to be on all the time, but I remember being extremely disappointed. By comparison, I've been to a Jimmy Fallon recording and a Letterman recording, and I can say with full conviction that those guys really seemed like they cared about their audience and worked their hardest to entertain them, even while the cameras weren't recording, which
Oh yeah, these are some good. I mean, these are how he's made people feel. He's made people around him feel. And you understand that there's people out there who are gonna hate on you no matter what and try to crap all over your name. But there's people on there. There's people out there like who genuinely like was like probably a fan, like a big fan, and they were probably turned off by the way he was acting in these situations. And it sucks. It sucks because it's like these people are huge fans of yours, but you just turn them off in these situations.
they cared about their audience and worked their hardest to entertain them, even while the cameras weren't recording, which was followed by one final anecdote reading, massive dick in person. I saw a League of Their Own filming live, through multiple tantrums over minor things at the production staff, with him being incredibly rude to them, which made the other regulars seem very awkward like it was usual. Between each take, the other celebs would be chatting amongst themselves, bantering about. James was glued to his phone. At the end of the filming, people got up to go get pictures with James, and he massively kicked off shouting at people to go away and go back to their seats, and the few he did let have pictures with, he was moody as. Seeing him like that made me realize everything you see of his on TV is a complete persona. When continuing on through the AMA, it becomes pretty obvious as to why James Corden only answered 3 different questions before calling it quits. Why are you, James, such a deeply unpleasant person? Did your parents raise you that way? Have you ever considered being funny or likable? James, are you aware that everyone thinks you're a hack and a talentless asshat? With his third comment here relating to the next reason behind James Corden's decline. Many of his on-screen performances have simply been terrible. A petition requesting that James Corden not be cast in Wicked the movie gained close to 110,000 signatures, and after Friends announced that James Corden would be hosting the TV show's 15-year reunion, he'd received Twitter responses such as, "Don't get me wrong, I've been wanting a Friends reunion since 2004, but if someone told me James Corden would be in it, I'd have told them not to bother."
Bro, James Corden is like a dope host. Like, talentless. I understand how you feel about him personally. If you feel like he's like off camera, he's crap and he's mean and he just is disingenuous and he doesn't really care about his fans and he treats people badly. But on camera, I can't call James Corden a talentless hack, bro. I can't say James Corden is a heck of a host. He's one heck of a host. I absolutely love watching him on camera. I can't speak to anything off camera. I've never tried to meet him or anything like that, I guess.
Reunion since 2004, but if someone told me James Corden would be in it, I'd have told them not to bother. James Corden adding the Friends reunion to the list of things he's ruined with his mere presence. Additionally, after starring as the main character in the 2019 film Cats, the movie received a 2.8.
I never saw that movie. That just...
After starring as the main character in the 2019 film Cats, the movie received a 2.8 out of 10 star rating on IMDb, as well as reviews so awful that James Corden didn't even end up watching the movie himself. However, James stating that he didn't watch the movie wasn't the only thing that was interesting about this interview, as he'd also discussed another topic which had turned much of his audience against him, his beef with another talk show host, Bill Maher. In September of 2019, Bill Maher published an editorial about obesity, with the contents of such being discussed on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Look, you can't keep eating as much as you want and as shitty a food as you want. You just can't.
That is not something that anybody wants to hear, though.
People loved it
That's
until
facts.
James Corden said something.
As mentioned, James Corden wasn't too happy with these comments and would call Bill Maher out by making both some reasonable arguments.
If making fun of fat people made them lose weight, there'd be no fat kids in schools and I'd have a six-pack by now.
As well as some awful ones, such as a zero personal responsibility statement that Bill Maher was simply lucky to have a body that burned more calories than him.
We're not all as lucky as Bill Maher, you know? We don't all have a sense of superiority that burns 35,000 calories a day.
Which Bill interpreted as the easy, low-risk way out of the argument.
He missed a great opportunity to literally save lives. He took the easy way out. Of course, you can always get applause for saying, oh, let's boo the mean man who's told the truth. That's not brave.
As is usually the case with these kinds of topics.
That is true on that. And I understand there are people who like genuinely have medical problems or are different. But what Bill was saying is true. Like, you just can't. Like, you can't eat crap all day as much as you want. And that would I've ballooned to much bigger than I am right now. And eating is definitely the humongous I work out, but eating is the biggest difference. Like, what you put in your body is the biggest difference. And I feel like how you look and your health. So I wouldn't say throw your health to the wayside. Eat as much crap as you want. Even though it tastes amazing. Food, oh my gosh. Food tastes amazing. I am with Bill on this one. You just gotta watch what you put in your body, guys.
Mean man who's told the truth. That's not brave.
As is usually the case with these kinds of topics, there were supporters for both sides of the argument. However, James unnecessarily forcing himself into such a divisive conversation where people already disagree with him was probably a net negative toward his reputation, just like the time his carpool karaoke was outed for being fake. The segment during which James Corden drives around singing songs with various famous musicians was called out by a user on Twitter in early 2020 after they noticed Justin Bieber and James Corden in a car, which wasn't being driven but rather being pulled on a trailer. The video would rack up over 14 million views, which prompted an incredibly hilarious response from James Corden himself, in which he would go ahead and debunk the claim that the series had been faked.
95% of the time, I really am endangering the lives of the world's biggest pop stars. Here is a list of every carpool karaoke where I've used a tow, and this is a list of every one where I was driving the car, okay?
However, while Corden did a pretty good job of debunking these claims, there are still countless comments on every carpool karaoke from people who never saw the debunk calling the videos fake. This all feels so fake when you know he's not actually driving. Fake news, James isn't actually driving. James Corden, stop cheating people with your carpool karaoke. Can't believe all these celebrities put up with this fake show. Next time, at least drive the damn car.
In defense of James, who cares if he's dry? Like, why is that such a big deal if James Corden is driving the car or not? I could care less if 100% of the times he was getting told the whole way, like, is James Corden having fun with a celebrity in the front seat doing carpool karaoke, singing karaoke? That's the funny part. That's the entertaining part. Him driving a car, not, I could care less if he was doing it on stage, if he was doing it in a booth. I don't know. I feel like people nitpick and look for things to just be upset about. I don't understand why people would be upset about that at all. Like, either way, if he's getting towed, if he's driving the car, it's entertaining.
Karaoke. Can't believe all these celebrities put up with this fake show. Next time, at least drive the damn car. It seems like even when James Corden is in the right, his audience selectively decides that he's still in the wrong, which has also been speculated as part of the reason behind his recent announcement that he's leaving the public spotlight. On the 29th of April 2022, James Corden would upload a video to his YouTube channel titled James Corden Discusses His Late Night Future, in which he'd announced that he'd only be hosting the show for one more year.
I've decided to sign for one more year on the show, and that this will be my last year hosting the Late Late Show.
In a different interview, James Corden specified that his motive for leaving the entertainment industry was to spend more time with his family.
I don't want to do it forever. We're a really long way away from home, and we're a really long way away from people who are getting older, and we're a really long way from them if something should ever happen, and that plays on my mind a lot.
However, many have speculated that being such a disliked celebrity has put an unbearable amount of pressure on him, which becomes especially obvious when looking at the comments regarding his retirement. James Corden is a talentless bag of garbage. Goodbye, good riddance. Finally, we don't want him anymore. Ruins everything he's involved in. Probably one of the most annoying people in the business, it seems. Please don't come back to the UK. Please don't come back to the UK. Please don't come back to the UK. With each of these comments being accompanied by flattering articles such as, "Farewell, James Corden, you were an asshole."
I'm rocking with James Corden. I'm
Amy
rocking
Schumer
with
places
James
first
Corden
on
to
literally
the very end. Like, I'm talking about on camera. I'm talking about on camera. I don't know James Corden as a person off camera. Never met James Corden in my life, but on camera, James Corden is talented. He is funny. He is entertaining. His show is good. It gets ratings. Like, it gets views. So he's gotta have something. Gotta have something to get that. But I understand him wanting to leave to be with his family. Like, spend more time with your family. That's completely understandable. Like, you know what I'm saying? But for him, they're saying he's leaving because all the pressure of being disliked. If you've disliked him this long, like, what's the difference now? You disliked him for so long. I don't think that bothers him as much as being able to spend that time with his family. I think that's very important. Shout out James Corden. I rock with you, my guy. Sorry about your reputation. For a lot of people still rock with you, though. Think you're hilarious. That's all we got for this one. You guys got a favorite video suggestion? You can subscribe to Patreon and drop it in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You can subscribe to any of it. Put all the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Love talking to you guys. You guys are the most incredible team on YouTube. It's your boy D Neal. Out.